got dog training, crowdfunding, and international long-distance relationships gone awry today on the Pollinator Podcast.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Exhausted. How are you?
Same.
When did we get so old?
I think only last week.
It just happened.
Yeah, it was about 15 years last week, a couple months ago.
That's crazy. That's insane. I love it.
So why don't you share with our audience who you guys are and what you do?
Awesome. Well, I am Dee Hoult. This is my husband, Sam Hoult. He's the shy one. I'm the outgoing one. And we own a pet dog training business in Miami, Florida called Applause Your Paws. And in between all of our amazing trainers and myself, we serve a lot of dog owners here in the South Florida area. We have a pretty large facility, and Sam joined what was originally my company when?
In 2015.
In 2015.
January 1.
Oh, so you're about to celebrate a decade with my company, now our company. Awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I hope your boss is still working out for you.
She's all right.
Other performance reviews.
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good.
So now you have 2 locations, am I correct?
So we did have 2 locations. In 2023, at the beginning of 2023, we actually made the decision to close our Broward location and just refocus on our Miami location. So we did have 2 locations for a while. That location was doing great. We had like a great staff and a great team. But I think what we realized after many years as we approached the end of a lease cycle was that sometimes the extra revenue isn't worth it.
Yeah.
And you got to balance like how much stress that actually causes you and spreads you thin. And so we made the decision to go ahead and close that location, which was not easy because I think it was always my dream to have multiple locations. And I won't rule out having multiple locations in the future, but I don't think I'm going to jump into that anytime soon because it ultimately just, whether I picked the wrong location or it wasn't the right time or I didn't do enough business in the area before opening the brick and mortar. I don't know exactly which of those things, probably a combination it was, but it was never as successful as Miami. We found the drive really challenging to go up there and support our staff. And we had an awesome manager. Like she was doing it herself. She was great. But, we like being involved. So yeah, it was a tough decision and we closed it, but it's been great. Like now that that's 2 years in the past, I'm kind of like, what Broward location? Like it never happened, right? And that's a very strange feeling because it was such a big deal when it happened. How can you be 2 years removed from it and feel like it's like it didn't happen at all? That's life, right?
Yeah, 100%. 100% is life. And we read this book last year, maybe. Somebody got it earlier this year. It was the gap versus the game, or these I keep wanting to say Tom Hardy, but it's not. But nonetheless, the whole focus of the book is like you measure your success by looking backwards and how far you've come, rather than how far you are away from the goal or whatnot, because that's always like this moving horizon. But whenever we do that and actually look back, and it's like, oh yeah, we have made significant progress. We're not as far off, or we're not as terrible as we think we are.
Right.
The goalposts are always moving forward.
Yeah, but, they are always moving. And I think we learned a lot about how to support and manage employees with that building, opening and closing. And so my hope is that we're doing a better job supporting our Miami-based crew now that we realize that is a really big, like, integral part of our business's success. Like for many, many years, we were lucky that we had really strong managers in place while Jack was little, our son, that really didn't need a lot of our support. But at some point, I mean, it took like almost 7 years, but at some point you realize that, or 6 years, the business wasn't the same without you. And then this is the other conflicting thing that I think I've struggled with this last year, especially. The entire point of being an entrepreneur, hopefully, right? Well, we have a lot of reasons why we do it. But I think one of the things, at least we were always taught, and maybe Will, you and I were torn from the same cloth with our B&I upbringing and all of our mentors in that group. I don't know who along the way made me read The E-Myth by Gerber, but I do feel like I found it somewhere in that B&I circle, right? And it made me realize that like you're trying to achieve being the owner, which means that you don't do anything, right?
Right.
And I feel like I did achieve that for a long time. But then when I really stepped back to analyze the business, I wasn't happy with where it went. And so then we made the decision as we closed the Broward location to become the managers again in our business, which would be like, you know, Gerber would be like, don't do it. You can't be the owner and the manager and do it well. Well, I beg to differ because I feel like now with all the experiences we've had, we've found this really nice balance where we can still be the top decision makers in our business and have that quality control without the day-to-day management. And I think that's the defining factor, right? Like we still are the decision makers and we're not allowing anyone else in our business to make those decisions, which over time kind of got our business to a place where we didn't want it to be. And it was still fine. It could have kept going like that forever, but it didn't feel the way it felt when we were at the helm.
Well, so let's go back a little bit and into the whole thing. So that's because the location opened in not too long before Sam came on, right? Like maybe
2014, right? May.
Yeah. So our original store in Miami, I opened the doors Cinco de Mayo 2014.
I think I remember that. Yeah.
Yes, Cinco de Mayo. Mm-hmm.
But you'd had the business and doing training like even before that, and one of the key differentiators, right? We used to always talk about in B&I and networking and like things that made you different is like you were a dog trainer with an MBA, and not too many people could talk about that. So go back and like start at the very beginning and like a little bit of that story and how you kind of went from, you know, just being on your own and then having a team and you're still driving around and all of a sudden there's a location. And
yeah. So I think when I decided I was going to pursue being a professional dog trainer, so I'll start there, right? I went to school at University of Miami to pursue what I thought would ultimately lead me to a PhD in marine science and oceanography. That was my path that I chose, that I was passionate about. And then somewhere along the way, my course led me to then not going into science for my master's. And I got encouraged by a really good mentor that I had to pursue business because she thought I'd be really good at it. Well, she was right. And I got my MBA at the University of Miami. And during my MBA is when I officially like incorporated Applause Your Paws in 2006. So I was still working full time for the University of Miami at that point. Started my business, would train people's dogs, you know, nights and weekends, anytime that I could, while still balancing my 9 to 5 and finishing my MBA.
What were you doing for the 9 to 5?
I was working for the University of Miami. I was an executive assistant to a major gifts officer, which basically means that fundraiser, right? She's a fundraiser for University of Miami. She was a major gifts officer. So she was not soliciting anything less than $10,000 when she sat across the table from potential donors. And when I look at the experience I got getting to essentially like literally sit at the table with her when she'd have these interactions or have coffees, I was there. It was amazing. Like as a mentor, she'd take me with her to let me watch her do her job. And I had to remember all sorts of other little pieces because I'd have to prompt her later, like, you know, on details of these conversations or taking notes or, oh, Dee, yeah, like Dee can set that up, whatever. I watched how she did what we would understand to be friend raising, developing relationships with these people where they love you, trust you, so that you don't even have to make the ask. They say, how much money do you need? They're asking you. And then she's like, well, $1 million would be nice. Oh, $1 million? No problem. Like, it was incredible. It was incredible. So that was a great job. While I'm doing my MBA and I have this mentor, right, teaching me those sort of like build friendships to sell skills, I'm starting my own business. And that's sort of the approach I took. Like I have my training from my MBA telling me, you got to know your numbers, you got to do this, you got like, so that was great. But then also my mentor who really understood sales, fundraising. 2009, I decided I was ready to go out on my own. I had enough clients that I wanted to take the leap of faith to try. And I felt very lucky. You know, we had been married, what, three years at that point?
Yeah.
About 3 years. He was working a job, you know, a normal job. And so we sort of looked at each other and I'm like, can we survive if I do this? And I don't know. I mean, do you remember that conversation? It was so long ago now.
I don't, but we did.
But we did. and off we went, you know, and if it wasn't for him working his normal job, right, that he worked, just making sure that like our rent gets paid and we have food, I wouldn't have been able to do that. I mean, it's hard to take that big leap of faith, but I think it all picked up pretty quickly. I do remember the very first year though, I made $11,000. That was it. Yeah. But that combined with his salary was enough to survive.
Back then.
Very good. And I mean, I don't know, by the time we opened the building in 2014, I mean, it was just exponential. The growth was exponential. And the day that I opened the facility, because I always knew that would be my path. I remember sitting in my MBA classes and we're having to put together business plans or, you know, compare different companies like marketing strategies or whatever. I knew that the vision was having a facility. Like I was always aiming to have a facility because that was the only way that I would be able to have volume. Right. And so when we opened our doors to the facility in 2014, I already had 7 employees at that point. So we kind of just hit the ground running. And we had a really established base of fans and customers already that celebrated the opening of that building. Of course, everybody in our networking circles celebrated the opening of that building. Like I remember it being a very big deal. And it just took off after that, like word of mouth. It was crazy.
Okay. Now, I remember because we had these conversations, you know, years and years ago, before that. But I think one of the interesting business case studies are out of there is how you actually financed that building.
Yeah.
Originally, because you know most people would have went and got a loan or you know done something or had to have you know a massive backer or investor or something like that. Yes. But you didn't.
I didn't. Okay, so I was training dogs on the road. I had a lot of really good invested clients who referred me business. They were my number one salespeople out in the community. Like, this is who you go to for dog training. And throughout the years, I would have some of these really amazing clients actually tell me like, well, what's next? What do you want to do? And I would share with them, well, I really want to have a building, but I'm still really struggling to like save up enough money to put like a down payment on like the size of space that I would need to do this. And I would tell them, I just don't think I'm ever going to get there. Like every time I think I've even saved a third of what I need, life happens and I have to take that money and I'm never going to get there. And then they'd say, well, why don't you take out a loan? And I'd say, well, I can't qualify for a loan because I have a tremendous amount of student loan debt. I have all this credit card debt. I just can't. Like if I can't do it in cash, like it's just not going to happen. And I hadn't like given up at that point. I was still genuinely trying. But I think there did come a point where my clients that would see me every week, because some of these customers, I was at their house every week for years. I'm very much a part of their family and they're very invested in what I'm doing because they themselves are entrepreneurs. So that was the other kind of cool aspect. Like I've had so many cool customers along the way. And even now that they've already gone down that path. And so they would see me, right, kind of going down the path. And I think that they liked watching that journey and they were very invested. So I finally get to the point where I'm telling some of these customers, I think I'm just going to like, I'm going to just decide that like, this is not my path. This is not what's meant for me. And I'm just going to stay like a mobile trainer forever because I just can't get there. So then they're like, well, we'll give you the money. Like, we'll give it to you. Right. And I was like, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. Like, I'm not going to let you do that. Well, we'll give you the loan. No, I don't want to be like in debt to anybody. I already am in enough debt. I don't want to do it. And then my client, Mark, specifically, he still lives in the same blue house on Hibiscus Island here in Miami Beach. My client, Mark, said, well, how much dog training can I get for like $10,000. And I'm like, a lot of dog training, Mark. Like, what kind of question is this? And he's like, well, I'm just doing the math in my head really quick. And I think over the last like 3 years, I've probably spent about, and he's like, like, we're standing in his kitchen. And that week, I actually remember that like his wife was sick or something. So he was making a soup, right? The lesson's over. His kid has like gone to the other room because I was actually like his son's private tutor. Like the French tutor would be there on a Tuesday. And then as she's walking out, in comes the dog tutor, right? And I'd work with this kid and his dog every freaking Tuesday for 7 years. So he's there making the soup and we're in the lesson. We're just chatting. And he goes, well, I did the math. And he's like, pretty much at this point, I've financed a private education for my dog. Like, you know, I've spent about $13,000 with you so far. And he's like, so you're like, basically, what's another 10? He's like, because you're not going anywhere as long as my son's in the house. Like he's not in college yet. You're coming. So go think about it. What's the best deal that you could give me on dog training if I paid you $10,000? Like, what would that make it per lesson to make it a good deal for me? And I was like, okay, like I'll think about it. So I come home, you know, think about it. And then I'm like, I could pre-sell dog training to every single one of my good clients. I had this small handful of clients that I knew had the income to do that. They were just like that client who had no plans of me going anywhere. And like within a week, I had 50 grand.
Yeah, I remember having those conversations. Like
Yes.
you were blown away.
I was like, what?
I'm like, no, Dee, this is the path. Like
That's it. That's it.
Like all these people do this. Like
Yes.
you just need to make this package. I remember talking about those numbers with you. Like,
yeah,
just pre-sell it for a year, and you didn't have
to
sell
years. Years. They were like years of training. And then my one customer, she had 3 dogs. So she's like, yeah, sign me up, you know. And part of that package was I had to pick up and drop her dogs off every day. Remember? Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, I'm stuck being the shuttle now for 2 years, but I did it. Yeah. And it gave me the cash I needed to sign the lease and put the down, like, you know,
and do the
get
build
the money.
Right?
Yeah. First class and security, and off we went. So, yeah.
So now, I don't think I ever knew the story. Like, how did you and Sam meet?
Do you want to tell the story? Now that I've talked, go ahead. You can tell the story.
Tell the story.
Yeah, you can tell it.
I was in England. I'm from England, and I met a girl who was from California, and we dated. She was doing a study abroad program in England, and we dated for 2 years or whatever. And she got into the University of Miami. So then she moved from England to Miami, and we did the long distance relationship for a while. And I would come over as much as I could. And then I got a job over here and moved over here. That didn't work out.
Obviously.
We broke up. And
you got to tell the best part. She literally broke up with you like as soon as you got here.
Well, I don't need to say that.
Well, that's part of the appeal of this story.
Okay. All right. So I moved over here, and she was doing another study abroad program in Austria or whatever. And then she came back and broke up with me the day that she came back. So I was stunned, obviously. I was living in a house. I was driving a car. I mean, I just moved over
for her
to, potentially get married. So that didn't work out. She broke up with me. I had to find a new place quickly. The place that I found happened to be one of Dee's best friends.
He was like my ultimate bestie. And it was 3 guys living in a house. And when one guy moved out, in moves Sam Hoult.
I moved in.
So like, who's this English guy that just moved into your house?
But you went to Maryland.
Oh, that's right. I wasn't.
You went
there
back to
Maryland.
You'd done.
I finished college.
At college.
Mm-hmm.
Went back to Maryland. Then got the job at UM and came back.
Mm-hmm.
You came back. All your friends are gone.
Yep.
Only Justin was there.
Yep.
So then we would hang out a lot. And then that was basically it. We dated for 3 months and got married.
Eloped. On a Tuesday. I don't know. On a Tuesday. Yeah. 3:30 p.m. at the Coral Gables.
19 years ago now?
19 years ago. Yeah, we just celebrated 19 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait.
She
So, sorry, my brain is processing. Okay, so but how long were you friends for before you like officially started dating?
The funny thing is, I can't even say that we were friends. Like, we partied in the same circle, and then I think there was maybe 1 or 2 weekends where like everybody was out of town, and so it was only me and Sam. And so we're sort of like, I always tell this part, right? I go, we're on instant messenger, and I'm like, are we going out tonight? Question mark. And you're like, oh my God, he's gonna respond, like whatever. And I don't even know if I liked him at that point. It was just like, yeah, like, are we going out? So we went out a couple times and we really hit it off, and then I think it went pretty fast. Like, yeah.
Well, 3 months.
Yeah, it went really fast. So it's not
so
like,
how
we've been friends. We weren't like friends before. It's like we met, we were in the same area, but then finally had alone time and it just clicked. It's kind of like that.
We also realized we met before, though. When I would travel over here to see my ex-girlfriend,
we had been at dinners together.
Yeah, sort of similar circle of friends, sort of meeting. So
yeah, I was like, maybe you were at that dinner. I was like, I don't know.
So where did you go to elope?
Coral Gables Courthouse, like on Ponce de Leon or whatever, it's Douglas, wherever it is.
Yeah, not Vegas.
You didn't really go away to elope. You just.
Oh no, I worked half a day and then I was like, hey Anne, I gotta go.
Well, we did decide on a Thursday that we were going to get married, and we had to wait until the Tuesday.
You have to wait 3 days.
Because you have to wait 3 days.
3 business days.
So we decided quickly and, got married.
How did you just decide? How did you just decide? Like, you're like, did you just randomly be like, should we get married? Yeah, I think we should get married. Yeah, let's just go get married. Like, what was that? What do you mean?
So we'll make this real easy for you. Okay. Sam's green card was expiring.
Okay.
And
there's a slight component.
There's a component to that.
But
it was already moving it was moving in that direction, like already, you could tell. And so we had a very serious conversation. We'd sit down and we were like, what do we do? Like,
well, we went to a lawyer or two to see what our options were. And there really was no option for me to stay. I had to leave.
And I didn't want to go to England.
I didn't want to do a long distance relationship because guess what? That didn't work out before.
Yeah.
I didn't want to leave here anyway.
And I said, so these are the options. You come with me. We break up.
Or we get married.
Or we do what the lawyer says and we get married.
Yeah. And I don't remember. It's so long ago now,
but
right?
the decision we made in the car.
Yeah, we made it
after the appointment.
Yeah, on the drive home on US 1. I guess we're getting married.
We sort of said to each other, how do you feel about us? Like, do you feel that this is the path that it's going to go eventually? Whatever. We both sort of said yes.
Like, I feel like we were at the intersection of US 1 and 27th Avenue. Like, I feel like I can remember being in your blue Nissan.
It wasn't a long conversation.
No, but I remember it.
It was quick. I think we both felt the same way, obviously. And
you could see down the road and like, why don't we just accelerate that timeline? And
we just like, okay, let's do this.
Let's do it.
And I told my parents that I was getting married 3 days before. Like, it's not.
And they're like, send us a picture of her. We didn't know you were seeing anybody.
They didn't even know I was seeing
her. My parents at least knew Sam existed. I'd already taken him like to their house, and he had come for others. Like, all my friends knew Sam, but yeah, his parents didn't know I existed until the announcement.
So you were their daughter-in-law.
Wow.
So wait, what was the immigration interview like?
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
I got a feeling that it was way easier then than it is now.
So actually, you'll appreciate this, Will, because you knew our immigration attorney, Kurt Hermani, right, who we networked with for many years. May he rest in peace. Kurt had actually approached me to train his Rottweiler named Sharky, beautiful dog. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is great. Could we barter? My husband actually needs his citizenship. And Kurt's like, yeah, like this is great. Let's do it. So we didn't pay a dime. I trained his dog. I trained a Rottweiler for Sam's citizenship in this country.
Nice.
Yes, it was great. So Kurt was so easy to work with. Like the process was a breeze, right? The process itself was pretty much a breeze.
Guys, it seems so simple.
It's
very difficult to remember what it was like.
We did have one hiccup along the way because his Labrador Retriever ate all the immigration paperwork.
Yes. When she says mine,
yours,
kind of both of ours.
Well, it became both of ours. Well, I guess it was both of ours.
Yeah.
It was your dog. He was you.
They're acting up, and we're like, "Hey, you see what your daughter's done?"
In that moment, your dog.
Yeah, that dog went through a desk. Now, granted, it was like a cheap press board kind of desk, but he went through a desk and ate all of Sam's documents.
I don't know why he would do it.
Because he's a dog. What do you mean? What kind of statement is that? Why he would do it?
Such a weird.
Can't question
such a
why.
Weird scenario. All the other things.
So many other things
he could have gotten.
Shoot through and got to. But
there wasn't a lot in your room, though. That was all that was available, and you didn't crate him, so that was your first mistake. You know so much better now. Always crate the dog. Okay.
Wow.
So that was pretty easy. And then the immigration interview. This is like one of our favorite stories of all time. So we had to have a binder to basically, like a scrapbook that I made to basically prove that we were in a legitimate relationship, right?
She went above and beyond.
I went above and beyond. This binder was like
binder,
amazing.
Sections, everything.
Photos, love notes, everything. I put it all real organized. Where is that, by the way?
We have it.
Where it is. We should re-find it. That'd be fun. So we show up for the interview. And we're nervous. I mean, because they could say no, I guess. We're in the very final step. And we're even more nervous because Kurt was supposed to show up that day. And then he texts the last minute that something's come up and he can't be with us. And he's like, you'll be fine. And we're like, what? You were supposed to be here with us walking into that interview. So we go wherever we were in North Miami. I can see the building in my mind, but, I'd never been there. Stand in line. Finally, we get called into the room and we sit down in a room, a lady's office, right? Where we're facing her just like we're facing you. And she's very just sort of emotionless and dry, right? Just real straightforward. And I'm really nervous and Sam's really nervous and no one's saying anything. And she's like, did you bring all the supporting documentation? And I'm like, here's the binder, everything. And then we're just sitting there oh my God, what do we do? Do we say something? And then I can remember us kind of looking at each other, Sam wanted to say something and I'm sort of eyeing him don't say anything. Shut up. I don't know what you're about to say, but just don't say it. If she asks us a question, answer it, but don't just start chatting it up. And then this guy looks up into the corner of the room and he notices that there's a little, I don't know,
Well, she had a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just one item, I don't think.
But there are cats.
Oh, it's all cats.
It's all cats. On the top of the shelf, it's cat figurines, cat stuffed animals, all cats.
Yeah.
And so then Sam says...
I'm not sure exactly what I said, but something on the lines of, "Oh, do you have a cat?
Do you like cats or something?"
Your cat.
And I'm like, "What are you doing?"
Looks at me death stare, what am I up to? And then her demeanor just completely changed. Oh my God, I love cats. I have these cats. I have this. Get out phone. Here's my cats. Look at the cats. And she's talking about the cats, and she's going through her stuff, and she's going to approve.
She gets her stamp, and she's just going
approve, and she's just talking about the cat, and that was it. She goes, "Okay, you're good. Thank you.
Bye. Have a nice day."
Never mentioned your dog people.
Nope. No. We're we love cats, only cats.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It is kind of ironic, isn't it?
We had cats at the time.
Well, we did have cats, yeah.
So
they were in the scrapbook. They were in the scrapbook.
Yeah.
All right, so you've gotten married. Dee goes out, starts this business, grows it up, finances the build out, and then a couple years later, Sam comes on. What was that kind of conversation or was that a long run thing, or was it just, hey, I think I'm quitting this job and I'm going to work with you?
That was definitely.
There was
a lot of conversations.
Long conversations about that.
Yeah, because he didn't want to. You did not want to come join the company. I think you were very, very nervous.
I was definitely nervous about sort of, all your eggs in one basket type deal. if something goes wrong, well then, then we have a problem, as opposed to if I'm still working for someone else, then there's that backup.
And you also really love your field of work.
And I loved what I did as well, and that was difficult.
Remind us like what
was it
you
like
did.
sound?
Okay, yeah. So I was in custom audio and video installation, repairs, that sort of stuff.
Smart homes.
Yeah. So one button control your life type deal.
Which, side note, the best thing ever is when I'd show up at a client's house and he'd be there with the company he worked for, because they're both like high-end kind of luxury services, and we'd have the same clientele. And I'd show up and I'd see the van in the driveway and I'd be like, oh, maybe Sam's here.
And so when I walk in or she walk in, we wouldn't say anything and just we'd kiss each other. And the clients would be like, what the f- is going on?
That's my husband. Like, oh my God, we love Sam. Yeah. But I had an office manager at the time that I've been through a lot of people, but I had someone who wasn't working out. And I think ultimately what it came down to is that person was costing me a lot of money in open invoices, in being too slow to respond to people, whatever it was. And I really needed someone I could trust to handle the finances of the business, to support me, because I can do that stuff. I don't necessarily like to do it. And I can't say Sam likes to do it either, but the way his brain works, he is able to do those types of tasks. I will never get through it. I will just never get through it. Right.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, we had long conversations about it. Yes, should we do it? Well, what are the benefits? What are the pros? What are the cons? That sort of stuff. And it's lucky because my parents work together and own a business together.
And mine did too.
So yeah.
And mine did too.
And so I had a few conversations with them about, what do you think? We have this opportunity. Should I do it? How do you do it? How did you do it?
What was your biggest concern other than the financial stability of having the job?
Right.
Because there's a lot of parallels here to Shannon and my story as well.
Yeah.
So he finally took the leap and came on over. And I think, I don't know, you tell me based on your memory, because we have separate jobs in the company, very separate, distinct jobs, I think it's easy enough to not be stepping on each other's toes, because I don't know what he's doing and I don't need to know. That's not in my pay grade. He can do what he's doing and I'm not going to tell him how to do his job. And he's not a professional canine handler, so he can't tell me how to do my job.
Although I have picked up some skills now.
Yeah, you can train a puppy.
Yeah.
You can train someone's 1-year-old adolescent dog. No problem.
I can do it 2 weeks.
But if you gave me all the stuff and you're like, okay, do the audit, I'd be like, what? No idea what you're even talking about right now.
Yeah.
So Sam, you've kind of taken over the back end administration.
Yeah.
Front end ops, and then we kind of both do the sales and marketing thing, or is that still
it sort of depends on what we need. So definitely when I first came on board, I was definitely talking to clients.
Your
sales,
but sales and also accounting.
Yeah, and accounting.
Yeah.
As the business grew and we had other people come in and do sales, I let that portion go, and then I concentrated on the finance side and even handyman repair, when something has to be repaired.
Yeah.
That sort of stuff. So but mainly what I do now is just the back end stuff. And that no one sees. Right? I make sure the bills are paid on time. And
so Sam does payroll. He does all the IT for the business, which is actually quite a bit of IT involved, at least in our business, because we're paperless. So there's a lot of
making sure that the employees can run the computer fine.
Yeah, tech support when something's not working. making sure he reviews all the like open balances if we say owners, right? Pet owners who haven't paid for some reason. So he keeps on top of that. I'm still active sales in the business. I do some of the marketing, but I give all the marketing directives for the business. So he doesn't do any of that. And then he handles all the tax related things, which I don't touch at all. Like I have no awareness and I don't even handle it. I wouldn't even know like where to start because the business has grown so significantly that, yeah, I'm sure I handled all the tax stuff when my business was this little, but it is now way beyond my scope. And I haven't done that role to grow with it. So if he suddenly was no longer doing that job, I would have no idea what to do. I would have to like figure it out or hire someone to figure it out because I literally do not know that part of the business at all. He does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She'd be stuck without me, is what she's saying.
But actually another thing, I'll give Sam some kudos for this last year. I think this last year in particular, I've been really impressed with my employee, Sam Hoult, my husband, right? Because he has found so many ways to save the business money. And it takes a lot of time and patience that I don't have for like that, like to do the research, to talk to different companies for like different platforms that they're using. Like, do we really like the CRM we're using? Maybe we should try a different one, like that kind of stuff, right? I'm never going to change because I'm like, if it's not broken, don't fix it. But he's like, it's not that it's broken. It's that this one is cheaper, but you really have to look to make sure that it's going to be the right move. And that's incredibly time consuming. So the amount of hours that he's put into improving systems and processes while saving the business money, it's incredible. Like I wouldn't have done it and I wouldn't have the patience to do it. So I think that has become a very important role that he plays in the business because I'm not going to do it.
No,
Thanks, honey.
Thank you. Well, they say don't be static, right?
I guess they say that.
I don't know. I thought they did that.
Okay. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
With a steady influx of puppies and dogs, it's hard for Dee to be static.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm never static. I'm static right now until we're done with this, and then I gotta go again.
So then so you guys have your like very distinct roles, which helps to definitely reduce like conflict because you're not stepping on each other's toes, but like major business decisions, how do you make, like, do you have final say? Is that something you guys work together on? Like, how do you go through that process?
Do you want to take a stab at that question first?
I don't know. What do you want me to say? I would say I think we're pretty even at doing it. And it also probably depends on what the topic is. If it's more dog training related, then probably Dee would have the final say. I think I would have some input in it. And I think there is discussion. But then if it's more finance inside, then I would have more of a say. But I don't think there's ever a time where it's just like Dee would not be involved and I would make the decision. Even though I think sometimes she would prefer that. I love to talk it out with someone. So I would love to talk it out with Dee. And sometimes Dee's like, you just make the decision.
I do that.
Right?
Yeah.
And
so
like, then that frustrates me.
And then it frustrates him, right?
Like, I'm just trying to make the right decision.
And I'm like, well, then just make it. Whatever it is, it's fine. I support you. Make the decision. Like, there's definitely, and that's the husband-wife conflict, right? Like, we obviously don't want to make decisions that piss each other off, but sometimes I'm like, just make the decision, Sam. Like, it's fine. Just make it. You don't have to get my opinion on it every time. Like, just make it. So sometimes it can take us a bit longer to make decisions because that's the conflict. But I think, yeah, I'd agree. Like, mainly in our business, it's pretty clear cut based on what the issue is, who needs to make the decision. So makes it pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's pretty 50-50.
Yeah.
I like to think that.
Yeah. I will say one thing I think we're still working on, I like to turn off completely after a certain time. This one will work until like 2 a.m. and it drives me insane. And I'm like, not only do I not want to make this decision right now with you, I don't want to make it at 9:00 at night. So now you're really pissing me off.
That's okay. That's interesting you say that, Dee, because I would have not, just because, I follow you also on social media, and I see you doing like, you're training the dogs, and it's like 10:00. Like, I see you doing stuff, and it seems like at all different hours. So it's interesting that you say that about Sam, because for me, my impression is that would be you.
But you see, that's the thing, is the thing that you're seeing, that's fun for her. Right. She doesn't want to talk about the decision stuff that I want to talk about.
I'll go and play with my dogs until 2 a.m. That's very true. Yeah, because it's not. It doesn't feel to me like that's not the work. That's not the actual work.
I have a problem of turning off, and if I'm down a path and I want to get to the solution, it's very difficult for me to stop. And so sometimes, I could be up on my laptop until 2 a.m, tapping away, finding the solution.
Yeah.
But,
I'm like, but
I can function on 4 hours of sleep.
He can.
Which I did last night.
Yes, you did. Well, that was a communication error on our part.
We cannot do that anymore.
Okay, I didn't tell you you'd have to wake up early because I was leaving early, so that's my bad.
Coffee's.
So one thing I do want to talk about as well is because in addition to running Applause Your Paws, you also have your non-for-profit, and I'd love for you to talk more about that as well and share that as well, because I think that's a great thing that you're doing.
Awesome. Well, Sam is probably thankful he has nothing to do with that, although he's very supportive when I need a favor.
I still have some stuff to do with it.
You do? Give me an example. Give me an example this last week.
I have to hear about
it. Probably like filing like your IRS reports or something for it to maintain your nonprofit status, maybe.
I did have him help me with that this year. Yes, I did. I said, can you just please, I don't sit still long enough for you to print this paper out. So he printed everything out and he's like, sign this, sign this, sign this. I'm like, okay, bye. But no, so my nonprofit organization is called Magic City Canine. And it's a prison dog training program. It's a vocational program with Florida Corrections. And so my inmates will participate in the program anywhere from, let's say, a year to 3 years or longer, depending on how long their sentence is and when they're eligible for release. And the purpose of the program is to teach them how to become professional dog trainers. And along that journey together, like today I was at the prison and then I came home to do this with you guys. I implement a lot of things into the program that isn't just about dog training, but about business building, marketing, got some spiritual stuff we throw in there. Like it's a pretty good, wholesome program where training the dogs is at the core of that. And that was sort of born because at a time when I was not actively involved in Applause Your Paws at all. Like I just took a complete step out and I really had like nothing to do with it. I gave a lot of my focus and my time to growing that program. Now I kind of struggle to give Magic City Canine the attention that I'd like to because I am back actively involved with Applause Your Paws day to day to some extent. Some days I just play hooky and I say, nope, I'm not doing it today. But most days I'm not talking to our staff and
if the water looks good.
Oh, if the water looks good, yeah, I take my boat out. As you know. There's no stopping me. If the water looks good, it's like clear the calendar.
Yeah. She cancels my stuff all the time.
I do. He's like, so I'm not going for my haircut. I was like, no. But yeah, my nonprofit, like I love it. Like a lot of my guys, they do end up staying in the industry. They either start their own dog training companies or they work for another company, whether that's mine or another company in their area. And it's a lot of fun. Like it's my way of giving back to the community in a way that I think is meaningful for me, but also meaningful for them because a lot of these guys, like their charges are just not going to allow them to work a lot of jobs that are going to be worth it for them. And I think entrepreneurship is really the only way. And then, I'm sure you could chat GPT, like, what do prison dog programs really teach inmates? And it would spit you out something beautiful, like, teaches them compassion, teaches them empathy, teaches them patience. And all those things are true. I mean, and they get to have a buddy. So they get to have their dog living with them, in their cell at the prison. for the 16 weeks that they're together before that dog gets adopted, graduates, and then they get a new dog. So that's my.
I like the fact that in addition to you're giving, these skills and, not just job skills, but like life skills to these people, these men, to have a second chance. You're also then taking rescue dogs that wouldn't maybe otherwise not be adopted or be euthanized or put down just because their owners gave them up. You're giving them a second. So you're giving two lives a second chance, which I just find so beautiful.
And that's what I think makes the program really relatable for the inmates. I mean, I think they see a lot of themselves in these animals, and they know, a lot of these guys know what it feels like to just be given up on. So to have that chance again to like not give up on their dog, and then have a cheerleader like me and the other volunteers who are constantly like, you can do it. Like, it is a really fulfilling program. And you'll appreciate this. So most of the programs in Department of Corrections, they are faith-based programs, right? Not like the GED program, but like the other voluntary programs where a volunteer comes in to provide a service. They are faith-based programs. And every year when we go to like the volunteer banquet or whatever to get recognized for our service, some of the other people come up to me and they'll be like, I just love your dog ministry. and now,
basically what it is.
That's what it is. And so now I kind of jokingly, I go like, oh, I have a dog ministry.
Yeah. Well, and I remember like, and it was because I went there and spoke, I don't know how long ago, maybe a year or two ago.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. I was out of town. That's why I was like, I don't remember that.
Summer.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, you abandoned me just like Kurt did. Like, I'm sitting there like going into the prison like, hey, I got to go do something, but you'll be fine. Like,
I don't remember. Did something come up? Like, was I supposed to be there with you?
I think so, but I'm kind of busy. But something happened and you couldn't be there. I remember getting that text like, all right. But, growing up where I did, there's 4 maximum security prisons. And both of my parents worked for the Department of Corrections, so that was not a big deal at all to go. And it was a great group of a fairly large group. I want to say it was like 30 of them in there. And it was a fun discussion. The dogs, I think there was maybe in between dogs or.
Cool. Yeah, if they came into a classroom setting, they probably didn't bring the dogs with them,
Oh, okay.
But they're there hiding in the prison.
What is that like though? Like, that just seems like really kind of wild that they would have dogs in their cells and they're like walking dogs around all day.
Yeah. So if you've ever seen like Lockup, right? Like the prison itself is your, I guess, traditional like pod styled prison. So you've got like a central control room where the officers oversee with all their monitors and they can physically see. So from that control tower, they can see into that pod. They can see into that one. So you've got 4 pods that like rotate around the central office where the guards are. And so my dogs are assigned to just one pod, right? One dorm, the dormitory. And the dorm is 2 floors. My dogs live on the bottom floor. So every cell on the bottom, so there's 14 on the bottom, has a dog. And then there's a different dorm where we have another set of dogs, right? So we actually have 26 dogs at the institution that I work at now. At the height of my program in 2019, we were running out of like 5 institutions. We've since then sort of like consolidated down. So I have it back little where I like it. See, there's some parallels here. Like Applause Your Paws was much bigger. And we're like, yeah, no. Like the same as Magic City. It got really big and now we're just at one institution. So we can focus on doing like that really well. And it feels really nice and not overwhelming. And when the cell doors are open, they're free to walk around wherever they want with the dogs. The dogs can come in and out of the room leashed. They can sit with them while they're watching TV. They can sit quietly at their feet while they're playing chess. They can walk out to the recreation yard while they're playing basketball or go to the game room or go to the library or like wherever they go, the dog can go. For the exception of the chapel and the chow hall. Those are 2 buildings that are off limits. Otherwise, a prison is a city and the dog gets to just go. And when they're in their room reading a book or laying on their bed or whatever, then their dog's just with them, hanging out, cuddling up.
Oh, how big of a dog though?
I think the largest one we have right now is like maybe 79 pounds.
Wow.
Okay, so that's a pretty big freaking dog.
Yeah, our smallest one's like 20 and Willie, our biggest one, is like almost 80 pounds. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So all sizes.
All sizes. Yep. All shapes, all sizes.
Oh, that's fantastic. So something that we like to ask every couple that we talk to is kind of looking through your journey, what advice would you give to another couple who is thinking about going into business together?
Your turn.
My advice, I mean, this might sound cliche or whatever, but like communication, I think is the biggest thing for me. I like to communicate. And if you can't communicate as a couple, then
good luck
it's
to you.
going to be very difficult for you to communicate as business partners. So my advice is make sure that you communicate, like make sure you talk to each other. I mean, business is just like a relationship, right? A relationship is a business.
I think so. We have more children than most. It's called our employees,
yes,
plus our own child. So, and I mean that in the sweetest way possible if my employees ever see this, but that is what it feels like to me. Like we have these relationships with these employees, and obviously the more relationships you have on a day-to-day basis just kind of complicate your life, right? I mean, like, I don't mean that in a mean way, but like I have to take everyone's feelings into consideration every single day. Like it's not just me and Sam and Jack, it's me and Sam and Jack plus 16 other people every day. And so I think for me, my best advice too is like, I think you have to have, I mean, for any business owner, it's not even just couples, like you have to have a tremendous amount of patience and empathy to be able to handle that. And I also think that being like a husband and wife team or, you know, partners team or whatever, there's going to be days, and I mean, Sam knows it, I probably get to my tipping point faster than Sam gets to his.
You have to be able to read your I have to be able to read Dee. I can read her pretty good. I can see when she's about to blow. I'm like, okay.
Not today. Like I can't talk.
I don't need to ask you that question today. No problem.
Yeah. Right. And so whereas another employee, like if we were just coworkers, then maybe he doesn't have to consider my feelings as much.
Yeah.
But he really does because we live in this house and we parent together and we're a husband and wife. And like, yeah, there's some days when like I've just had enough and my spouse has to be able to, like I said, I come in the door and you have to immediately just know that like she's very stressed. Like now is not the time to bring it up. Because then that's going to affect dinner time. That's going to affect the rest of the night and our relationship time together. Not, you know.
I don't know how well we do this, but like being able to, you're very good at it. Just like, okay, work is done. I'm stopped.
Right.
You know, to be able to essentially, when you go to work, leave your personal life at the door. And when you go home and you walk in the door, leave your business life at home, at work, you know? So then I think there needs to, you have to be able to sometimes separate it, obviously. Otherwise, it might just consume you and not work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. We're still figuring that part out because we work from home.
Yeah, that's also partially a problem.
Yeah, we do too. So it blends, you know, in between homeschooling Jack and like Jack's part of the equation too. He's learned that when we're sitting here at the table and we're working, like he's got to just do his own stuff because we're in the office, even though we're physically here. So that's a whole nother dynamic. But yeah, I have no problem being like, I'm done, not thinking about it, not an emergency.
Right, and she'll tell me.
I'm done. I will literally say to him like, this is the last question. I was like say what you need to say, ask me, but then we're done. Like I'll draw the hard line. Thank you. Not trying to be mean about it. I just want to watch. I was like, I just want to watch Dancing with the Stars, but I also want to spend time with him. So something that I would assume he realizes, but I think sometimes it might go over his head, is that the reason I'm cutting it off is because I actually want to spend time with him. And if he continues to work, then I can't spend time with him. Because you need that separation. You have to like finish your job, decompress, right? You used to be like that with your old job. Remember, you told me, you're like, I need at least an hour. And I used to think this was the rudest thing ever, but I gave it to him because that's marriage, right? And he's like, when I come home, I need at least an hour before you like talk to me or ask anything of me at all.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. So that used to be the habit, and I just sort of got used to it. And I'd be like, okay, like
I don't know if it was an hour, maybe 30
might have been 30 minutes. Might have been 30 minutes. But he wanted to just like scroll or watch TV or shower or do whatever he was going to do without anyone talking to him, right? And maybe that's because he was more in a sales role, and it's exhausting. And my role, I am very on all the time. It's kind of like a performance. And I feel like Sam doesn't always have, like, he's working, but he doesn't have to be on. So when I'm done, I'm done.
I have to schedule time calls with her to be able to ask my questions, you know?
Yeah.
No, we do that too.
Even though, so we share an office space, but we're on opposite sides of the room. And sometimes like, I'm like, I want to ask him this thing, but then I look over and I see he's really like engaged in something. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to hold off because he's really whatever. I don't want to break his concentration. So like, I have to make a note to myself. Or like, I'll see like, okay, now he's like looking at his phone. He's not staring at his screen. Hey, can I ask you a question?
And then she'll come to find out that I was actually just like in my authenticator app, like getting the code that I needed to get into something. Like, just wait.
I'm like, can you just slack me? Like, don't talk to me out loud.
There's been multiple times we sit at the opposite ends of the table, and then we're talking to each other through the computer.
I called her last night. I called her last night.
I'm in the bedroom, and I'm like, hello?
And I'm like, I need to know this information. And she's like, why are you calling? It's like, because I have it right here. And like, just give me the answer so I can finish this.
Like, I'm over here.
I was like, okay, sure. Anything else you need?
The afternoon coffee. He is my barista. Yeah. He made the coffees early today because we were here with you.
Well, thank you guys so much. I'm glad that we were able to get you on and to hear about your company and your marriage and your non-for-profit. And I'm just excited to see you.
All right. Have a good afternoon, you guys.
Right.
Thank you so much.
All right.